think we're live.
I think we are live.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Jennifer Goulden from the Entrepreneur Life Community, where we bring together these people that, there are people that you can call at 5 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night on a Friday, and you can brainstorm something amazing. And by Monday, you're like launching an idea. Jumping off the cliff and building the plane on the way down. So Shayna Recker here is who we're interviewing today, and she's definitely one of these people. Shayna is a speaker and a teacher, and she actually helps business owners build their online business, especially straight from the beginning, because she believes that you should be able to do that just with the right help. It shouldn't be as hard as maybe some of these other coaches and teachers make it out to be. So she runs sort of some accelerator programs, and she has the Dream Hustle Academy, which is incredible. I was just looking through your testimonials on your website, and people love you. So hi, Shayna.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, we're going to teach some stuff.
Yes, I love that. I love it.
So Shayna, how'd you get into all of this?
Yeah, well, my background, actually, I went to school for, which seems like forever ago, for graphic design. And so my background is actually graphic design. I'm a graphic designer by trade. And then I got into network marketing. So when I was pregnant with my third child, I was looking for, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like I always wanted to work for myself. I just kind of had that little bug in me from a young child. And
it's a thing, isn't it? You either have it, you're like born with that.
Right. And it's so funny because I tell this story, but I laugh because I used to watch the show as a kid. Remember the show Who's the Boss? Like that shows you how old I am.
Yeah.
Remember that show? And
I'm that old
Bauer,
too.
Remember Angela Bauer? She was like
yes.
the executive, like I feel like she owns the company. I don't even know what, but she was just like a really powerful businesswoman. And I remember like just feeling like I want to be like her when I grow up. And so it kind of started from there. And I went to school for graphic design. And even when I got out of school, I had this like idea that I wanted to help people as a graphic designer start businesses and create all their collateral, their logos. And at that time, they're like yellow page ads and all that kind of stuff. That's how.
Oh my God, that was like the dark ages.
Great. And so I became a graphic designer. I worked in corporate, and then I got introduced to network marketing, which was completely out of my comfort zone. It was with the health and wellness business. And I love the product, jumped into that. I still actually have that stream of income. It's still a business I own. But that business taught me more about being an entrepreneur. And it was the landing, or the stepping stone, I should say, that got me out of corporate and into becoming an entrepreneur, because I was able to make enough in my very first year of network marketing to leave my corporate job and, become a leader actually in my network marketing industry.
That's really interesting. We totally believe in network marketing.
Yeah.
But some people don't make any money at it. So it's really incredible that you just latched on and found the path to actually being successful into that. That's great.
Yeah. And I think that's part of what it was for me, is I saw that this was a tool for me to get out of the 9-to-5 grind. And I was really passionate about what I was doing. I mean, it has its challenges. I definitely had to learn some things and go through some stuff, but it worked for me, and I just really ran with it. And I was able to leave the corporate gig. I was a top leader in my network marketing business for still in one of the top levels today.
Kind of like the queen of the living room thing, right? Like when you get into the living room and you do your pitch and you show them what you believe in and that's a huge, if you can do that, that's amazing.
It's changed a lot now. The business has changed a lot since I started, because we used to do that, be in the living room, share the stuff, do the thing. I really love sharing the business. That's really what got me passionate about it, because it was a way for people to get out of either a job they didn't love, or to create income and time freedom to be home with their kids. Because that's really what I wanted. I wanted to be home. I wanted flexibility, because I knew in my heart I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And so when that fell into my lap, I just ran with it. It worked. I left my corporate job. And it was probably about 7 years in that I started noticing online people who were coaching, and they were teaching people how to do things. They were creating programs. They were doing, like, at that time, it was like Facebook Live was just kind of starting when I started my coaching business, but they were doing, yeah, like Facebook Lives, and they were doing Periscope. I remember following some certain people on Periscope.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I was just kind of like reading this book one day, and it was this woman who was in network marketing who created a brand around coaching and teaching other network marketers. And I was just kind of like, if she could do this, like, why couldn't I do something like this? And so I got the idea to start coaching as a network marketing coach. I have to admit, I got the idea, but I had so much fear and self-doubt around putting myself out there as my own brand.
You don't seem like you would ever have that. You
I
seem so solid, like you would never doubt yourself.
Oh no, there's always doubts. There's always fears and doubts. The thing that I do, though, is even though I have the fears and doubts, I will take action and do stuff anyways. That's the thing that I've learned over time, is that the fear's never going to go away. So the only way to make it happen, or the only way to find out if it's going to work for you or not, is
push
to
through.
do it, right?
Right.
So in taking action, like, I'm a doer. I love to just try something, even though the fear and doubt is there.
I totally see that.
Yeah,
but you are definitely a doer.
Yeah, but this particular one was like tricky for me because, when as a network marketing leader, I could put myself out there because I was, I had the company to kind of, back me, or like I could kind of stand behind the company a little bit. But as a coaching business, and that was me putting my full self out there with no backing. It was like just me saying,
right. You don't have the ability to say, X number of million people helped or whatever, all of the things that you would be able to normally say with the company.
Like, the network marketing gives you all the collateral, all the, stuff, where I had to develop all of that myself. So that there was a lot of fear there. And also my identity was really wrapped into being a network marketer. So putting myself out there in a new way was challenging because I had a community of network marketers around me kind of going like, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? But it was
really
this was something that was really tugging at me, and I had to explore it. So anyways, long story short, I jumped into becoming an online coach in 2016, and I had started a brand called Girlfriend's Guide to Network Marketing. And again, I was still kind of hiding behind a brand, like behind a name, right? And so I put myself out there. That's where I got started. But then about a year into teaching network marketing, I realized that that wasn't really working for me anymore. Like, I was kind of struggling a little bit. And what I discovered is that I actually really loved the process of building my business. I loved learning about, like,
you love the climb.
Yeah, I loved building a brand. I loved using technology and social media. I loved, how it literally, like, I could watch my business. I was watching my business like unfold using all these tools and techniques. And I was finding that people were asking me or talking to me about business ideas that they had and stuff. And then I would just like literally open up and be like, oh, well, you could do this and you could do that and you should create this. And like, and then I was like, wait a minute, maybe coaching is good for me, but maybe I was coaching the wrong thing. And so I started to explore coaching online business versus the network marketing. And that's when I switched my brand and became Shayna Recker, as I am now today, as my brand. And
now you're owning it. It's your name.
Now I own it.
You are the brand.
Right. Really. And the funny thing is that a year into coaching network marketing, it started not working for me. And that was kind of a sign. I was getting resistance, and the programs I was putting out just weren't clicking, and something was going on. And I noticed that. And then the minute I aligned with what I knew in my heart I really wanted to do, that's when everything started to come together, and everything started and success started happening. So
it's almost like, there's like a path of least resistance, right? When you're hitting, you can push through almost any challenge, any obstacle to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's really hard, if it's like you're just butting your head against a wall and it's a lot of work to do, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
Like, you have to listen to that, right? You have to go, okay, maybe something's not right. Or like you said, it's not aligned properly, and you have to pivot.
Yeah.
And find the path of least resistance.
And I've always say that to my clients when we're coaching. I'm like, I want you to get started. So start with the thing that you feel is what you want right now. But know that that might change as you go through the process. You may discover something about yourself, or you may discover about something during the process that just doesn't feel right. And you may have to pivot. I've pivoted. I had a Facebook group of 1,200 people that I literally had to like close down because they were all there because I was teaching network marketing, and it didn't
Network
feel right for me to
marketing.
go, hey, now I'm teaching online business, like, and just convert the group. So I literally just closed down the group and said, I'm changing directions, and had to restart,
That must have been painful, having a following like that and then just going,
Yeah, it
done.
is, but at the same time, it wasn't, I needed to make that pivot, and it was worth it for me to let go in order to restart, because I just, it didn't feel authentic in saying, okay, guys, I mean, I could have given them the opportunity to stay or go or whatever, but it just didn't feel right. So,
Mm-hmm.
we just pivoted, and that's okay. You can rebuild it. Like if you change direction, you can.
Absolutely, you can. And the key was that you were listening. Sometimes you get kind of pigeonholed and into thinking, okay, this is my goal. I've got my vision board, and that's what it says I should be doing because I decided on January 1st,
Yeah.
2020, that that's what it should do. And, and you're afraid to change. But I think being flexible in today's business environment is, I mean, that's one of the keys to
this year especially, right?
Oh my
Like,
God, yeah.
I had to pivot in the last, 3 to 6 months. And I share this story. There's a couple of free trainings I do, but this one free training, I talk about the story about the feather, the brick, and the Mack truck. And the feather is that little whisper that you get in your ear that says, hey, maybe you should like look into that. Maybe you should do that. Or maybe I could do that. Right. And that's like the feather whispering in your ear about, take a look at that, or be, just be mindful of that. Or maybe you should explore that.
Like write that down for later and dig into that.
Right? Yeah. And what happens is if you don't listen to that little inner voice that's asking you to go and look and look into something or try something or do something, then you get the brick. And the brick is like some sort of situation that happens in your life, and it's almost forcing you now to take a look at it. And usually the brick isn't something fun. Usually the brick is like not a great situation in your life that you're now like having to be forced to look at, making a pivot or doing something different. And then if you don't listen to the brick, you get the Mack truck. And the Mack truck is like,
is that COVID? Is Mack truck the
right? And so for me, it was like listening to the feather was, back when I first got the idea to do this business, become an online coach, like I didn't listen to the feather when it first told me. And then we did get.
So when did the feather come for you? When
I was reading that network marketing book, and I was like, maybe I could get out there and do this. And because I was afraid, and because I had the fear and the doubt to put myself out there, I ignored it. Then we got the brick, which our family just entered into like a kind of a crappy financial season, based on a lot of factors. But one of the things that, my husband said to me, he's like, what about that coaching business? Like that could be an extra stream of income for us and could really make the difference. And
it's nice that he believed in you like that. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing.
Oh, that's so good.
And so that's when we were like, all right, like I couldn't, my excuses just didn't hold up against what we were facing at that time. So I jumped in. And so that's why I say, if you're getting that message or you're getting that awareness around something, that's the feather, and it's whispering in your ear, like maybe you need to explore this.
And you actually started out, like you spoke at the Entrepreneur Life Expo in March, which basically happened days before the world shut down, like days. I think it was days. So we were the last event that happened in Waterloo Region.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but you spoke to everybody, held a seminar or a boss talk on building an online course.
Yes.
Which is, you hear a lot of people wanting to teach, especially in the coach industry and all of that stuff. So how did that become from online coaching for online courses to building a business from scratch, sort of? Is it the same thing? Is it all the same steps almost? Is that why?
Like, I think the thing is that it comes down to when you're starting an online business, it's like, well, what's your offer? Like, what are you offering? So for some of us, your product, it could be an online course with video modules and all that kind of stuff, or your offer could be one-on-one coaching. And it's a package for a one-on-one coaching. It could be a group coaching program. It could be an ebook. It could be, there's so many different things that your offer could be. And one of the things that what I shared in that training was just how to take what how to help somebody do and, reverse engineer it to turn it into a product, whether it's a coaching program, a group coaching program, an ebook, or whatever, right? It's like, how do you take the final result that you can get for people, and what are the steps that lead them to that result? And how do you figure that out? And then once you know what that result is and what the steps are to get there, then how do you create the container for it? And then what are you pricing it at, and what are you selling it for, and how are you delivering that content to people?
Right. So you sort of ask them all the right questions in the right order to help them get to the point where they can launch.
Yeah, where they can actually now, take that product. And then the launching part of it's a whole nother system, right? So there's
Of course.
I always say, like, your business is built in phases. There's things that we need to do in the beginning to set you up for, being able to create the offer and sell it. You can't just create the offer and then go out onto social media and have no followers and no list.
That is my biggest beef. That is the thing that keeps me up at night. Is I see these people who are talented, amazing, people that could really have an impact on the world of others. And they build this incredible business. Maybe they built it with you. I'm not sure, but they build it, they brand it, it's all there, they launch, and then they don't market it. And then they're like, oh, they feel defeated and they think it didn't work. But what didn't work is the fact that they didn't invest in themselves to actually get the word out there so people could take advantage of this incredible thing that they built.
Yeah, they didn't show up, right?
Because you got to show up.
You have to. In these days, if you're not a voice consistently out on your social media platforms and you're consistently not like out there giving value, you're basically non-existent. People can't find you. It's not that your product necessarily is bad, is that they just didn't know you or your product existed because they never heard from you. So it's, you have to make the commitment. If you're going to start an online business, you have to make that commitment to be able to get over your fear and get out there and talk to people and not talk to people. You're basically talking to air, but you know what I mean? Like in social media, you just got to get out there and start using your voice, and the people will come, but you've got to give it enough time. I find that so disheartening when I see, like you said, businesses get started, they've got a great product, they're all this stuff, and they're just like, they're even 3 months in and they're like, oh, this doesn't work, forget it. And it's like,
exactly
3 months, I've been doing this for 5 years. And I'm like,
exactly.
My first year was like, it's all lessons in that first year. Like, so you got to give it enough time.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that kind of goes along with the sort of, if I build it, I'll make money super fast and easy overnight thing. And I mean, I suppose that's possible, but you'd have to have a lot of gas on the fire. You'd have to spend a lot on advertising. Because if you're going to do it organically, like you said, create content, put it out there, build the followers, have them come and then start selling, it can be over the course of a year to 5 years. And then, your only other alternative is spending a lot on advertising, put some gas in the tank. Yeah.
Well, especially these days, because I mean, in the beginning, when, the internet and Facebook Live and Instagram and all those things first started, if you kind of got out there and was like, you were able to kind of say, I've got this thing, you were able to get seen by a lot of people because the
algorithm was our friend then.
Yeah. And now it's not, right? So
No.
I mean, there are a few new, platforms that are coming up, TikTok and things like that, where you probably have a better chance of being seen, but even those things are getting more and more filled up with people.
Okay. Are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok, but
are you dancing?
No, I do it more for like, I started an account just to play around with it because I wanted to understand it so that I could decide if this was going to be a tool for me in my business or not. And I do see value for people using it in their business for sure. I do not use it for business. However, I do use it for, like, I've created a bunch of just different videos just to test things out. But I've had a couple go viral, which is, I have one that's almost at a million views.
What?
It's just random stuff. Like it's
okay. Which one went viral? What did you do in this video?
I did a video. I bought myself this year a Louis Vuitton bag, which is like my first time investing in a fancy handbag for myself. And so I did a video. It came in the mail because COVID, I couldn't go to the store. It came in the mail. So my husband just videotaped me opening it up because I was really excited for it. And so I decided I'm going to throw this on TikTok and see what happens. Yeah, it literally just went. People just,
that's crazy.
And the reason being is because with TikTok, if people watch the whole video, then that like it boosts your algorithm. So because I was opening a package and they had to watch the whole video to see what was inside the box, not to mention because of the
unboxing is huge.
yeah,
Unboxing videos on even on Instagram and Facebook, really, they're huge. And in
yeah.
TikTok, it's only 15 seconds, right?
It's I think you can be up to no, it's longer than that. It can be up to I think a minute.
Okay.
And yeah, so if you keep them watching and if they watch it over and over again, and again the same things, if they comment on it, if they share it, if they like it, like all of that stuff boosts your algorithms, right? So so I did that video and it literally went viral. So to the point where like I had to stop looking at all the comments and stuff. It's like, and it's interesting with TikTok because you can see that your video is actually moving around the world because I got a bunch of English like comments and North American kind of comments. And then it went to like Germany or something. And then I was getting all these like German comments. And then it went to like, I was just like, if you look at the comments, because they type in their language, right? And so half of the comments, I have no idea what they're saying, but
That is so cool that you
yeah,
can watch it go around the world.
it is a good tool, and I think that it's good. But one of the things that I'm actually teaching right now is because these social media platforms, like in the U.S., TikTok may be gone because President Trump is wanting to ban it. Right? I don't know if you heard that.
No.
Yeah, so he wants to ban.
Nothing surprises me in that realm.
He wants to ban TikTok in the US. And so there are a lot of people who have built massive followings and businesses on TikTok in the US. Yeah, so that's potentially what could be happening in the States. So this is why I wanted to create that training that I'm doing on Thursday about why you need an email list. Like having
you can't be a slave to these platforms because if they go away, or all of a sudden they're $10,000 a month in order to keep them, you've built the audience, you have the people there, and now it's gone, or you have to pay the hostage price of whatever it is they're charging. So you do a class on building an email list this Thursday. Is that
going to do? Yeah, well, just it's because this whole thing with TikTok was a really good reminder that we don't own our followers. We don't even own our content that we put out on these social media platforms. So, and they could, like you said, they could take our followers away. They could take our accounts away, and even the algorithms, like we're like a slave to the algorithms, right? I have 16,000 something followers on Instagram, but there's not 16,000 people seeing my stuff, right? So I'm getting.
No, that's so frustrating though, isn't it?
Right.
16,000 people should see your stuff if you have 16,000 followers. That's not fair.
They don't, right? So,
No.
and that's just the way that it is though. We can't control that. So where I've always believed is that, and I've done this from day one in my business, is build an email list, because that's, even though email isn't, not every email is getting opened, the percentage of email that gets open versus the percentage of people who are seeing my content on Instagram or Facebook is drastically higher. And then one level above that is now getting into text messaging marketing, which is now
that's huge right now.
Yeah, which has like almost 100% open rate. So
I always open my text, always.
Right? Whenever a text comes in, it's the first thing I'm doing is checking it, right? So what we need to do is learn how to move our followers from our accounts into our lists, whether it's email, text, or both, really. And so the TikTok situation is just a good reminder that, you may have 50,000 followers on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, but if those accounts were to go away tomorrow, which it's 2020, at this point,
anything could happen,
right?
If murder hornets are a thing, then definitely Facebook could evaporate tonight.
Right. So, we need to start moving those people from the platforms to something we own, which is our email list or our text messaging list, or both.
So what would you tell if business owners and entrepreneurs are watching this and they want to start taking steps to really take ownership and build a real email marketing list, or just an email list of followers, something that belongs to them? What do you suggest? What is the way to do it that's easiest?
Well, I'll give you some quick steps, and I'm actually doing, like I said, a free training this Thursday, the 13th. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys actually,
is that online?
It is. If you text the word Kickstart to 343-300, 0040, you will get a link to join the free training.
Awesome.
And then you can get a little sample of how text messaging works with.
And then you can see how Shayna does teaching, because she's amazing.
I have fun when I teach, that's for sure. So the first thing is, we've already talked about why you need an email list, obviously, because you don't own your followers. And it is, I do find though, also with an email list is majority of the sales when I am in a launch come from my email list versus my social media. So the sales are actually higher from your email list. But the first thing you need to do is you got to know your niche, right? You got to know who you're talking to. You need to know who your ideal client is. Because that's the person that you want to attract to your list. I would much rather see you have a small list of ideal clients that are niche to your market than to have a giant list of just a whole bunch of random people, because they're actually going to affect your open rates, which is going to affect your deliverability. And that's just going to be not fun for anyone. So you want to make sure that you know your niche. Really, what are they struggling with? What are their pain points? What are their dreams? Because you want to create something that's going to speak to that. Right? That's something that they are struggling with, that if you were to create a document, a training, a free training, or an audio or something that is going to help give them a quick win. So that's number 2, right? Is
you want to basically speak or write in a way that you're sitting over coffee, just like you and I, and you're talking back and forth. And what you would like, that tone, how you would speak directly to that person.
Yeah, you want to, like, so for instance, let's say, like, for instance, the whole, this whole TikTok thing, like, let's say my ideal client is a TikTok user in the US, like that's, whatever, they love TikTok and they're using it every day and they're making money, but now they're facing this whole thing of like, shit, I might lose my account tomorrow because of President Trump. I need to move these followers somewhere.
I can't even imagine.
Well, right? And so they find my free guide on how to move followers from TikTok to an email list. Guess what they're doing? They're signing up because they need to know how to do this. It's a problem they have. It's a pain point. It's something they need to fix. So when you're thinking of your niche, like, what are the things that they're struggling with the most? And then, what can you provide a quick win for? The idea here when you're creating an email list is you want to be offering out content that gives them a quick win. So not a guide that's going to take them 90 days to complete. And then, in 90 days, they're finally going to get a result. You will have lost them before then. You want something that they can implement like right away within 20
like today.
Yeah. They can do, oh, wow, that worked. That was amazing, because that quick win builds that trust with you. And so guess what? They want to come back for more. They want to listen to more of your stuff, follow more of your things.
Brilliant.
So you want to do that. And even once you know your niche, that's when you really want to build the foundation, right? So step number 2, I would say, be build the foundation. So get out there and give lots of free value so that you have an audience, so that when you release this lead magnet that you're going to create in exchange for email addresses, you actually have people in your audience that will be like, heck yeah, I want that. And they're signing up, right? So,
right. And for those who are super newbies, a lead magnet is it's the content that makes people sign up for your email list in exchange for whatever amazing thing you're going to teach them. You have to provide impact before income. So you do have to, give them your best tip, give them something that's really going to make an impact on them today. And that's kind of the definition of a good lead magnet.
Absolutely. And that's step number 3 is create that lead magnet. So once you've figured out your niche, you've built a foundation, you've got some followers, some things happening, then you want to offer out your lead magnet. And that could be multiple different things. Quizzes are big right now. It could be just a PDF document that you've created in Canva that gives them, 5 steps to, this transformation or this result.
P.S. I love Canva.
Oh, I know.
Love it.
I'm a graphic designer.
Me too. I started off in graphic design and coding, and let me tell you, Canva's got it.
I use Canva all the time. I rarely.
There's no shame.
No, I rarely open Illustrator or InDesign or any of those things. I just go straight to Canva. So Canva is your best friend. So sign up for Canva. You can create easy, quick documents. There's tons of templates there. But you could also do a video training. You could do an audio training. I know lots of people who do meditations and things like that, free meditations as their lead magnets. You could do SoundCloud recording, playlist. My husband's actually going to do a music playlist like he uses when he's creating his art as his lead magnet for his followers to his art business, and they can get his free playlist, that kind of stuff. So there's lots of different cool things you can create.
And it's fun to be creative like that, like so unique. Who would have thought? I would never have thought to do.
Well, as an artist, he's like, what do I give away? Like, I don't know what to give away. And I'm like, what about the music you? Because he's always listening to amazing music, and his art is about music. So I'm like, what if you created an amazing playlist that you could exchange an email address for, and you're going to send them a link to this playlist that you've created.
I love that.
We're working on that. But that's what you're going to do, is you're going to create something that's going to give somebody something they want, something that's going to make them feel good, a quick win, a result. And then you got to set it all up, right? So then you need your text. So you need a landing page to be able to, say to people, this is what I've got. This is how it's going to help you. Here's a few bullet points around what this is going to do for you. Give me, put your name, your email address, your cell phone number in here, and I'll send you this document. It's like, just like it's not a website. It's just a little landing page. You can use MailChimp, Lead Pages, I think ConvertKit. There's a lot of great software out there to help you do that.
And then do you use? Can I ask that?
I use Kajabi. So I'm
okay. Yes, it's all built in.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kajabi because it is all in one. And so you are going to then need your email system to be able to deliver that document, that free thing that you're giving away. And I like to make sure that the free offer that you're giving is delivered to their inbox, because it gets your new prospect used to your name showing up in their inbox. Sometimes you can do it where when they give you your name and everything on the landing page, it could go to a thank you page that has a download here button. But I want them to get comfortable with my name showing up in their inbox, and I want them to open that first email.
And it'll be less likely to be marked by your inbox as spam if they've previously received and opened something from your email address.
100%. And now they're used to seeing, now they're like, oh, this is cool. And they've gotten some value out of that email. So once you get your text set up, the next thing you want to do is you need to nurture the people who are coming into your list. This is not
That's kind of an art form, isn't it?
Right. It's not a one and done kind of thing. Now that they're in your list, now you have to create the relationship with them. So you want to continue to give them value. So what I like to teach my students is to set up, it's called a welcome sequence, which is typically, it used to be 4 to 5 emails, but now they're even getting longer to really help build that relationship and continue to deliver value around what it is that you do and what they're struggling with and their pain points and that kind of stuff. So,
and the nurture list is not to hit them over the head with sales.
No.
You're not going to be like, buy this and do that, and I have a special and blah, 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 blah. It's really about generating that relationship and know and trust, and just getting to know Shana Recker as a human and as a professional.
Yeah, and me getting to know them, I always encourage in my nurture list, simply reply to this email, let me know how you're doing with this, or tell me.
Don't you wish more people would?
Yeah.
I feel like they don't think we're authentic, that we don't actually want to hear back, but we really do. Reply with all of the things. I love reading those kinds of emails and getting
I always say, this goes to my personal inbox, so please, I want to hear from you.
I love it.
And then after you've got that set up and created, now it comes to marketing your lead magnet. And really, when you're marketing your lead magnet, it's about being omnipresent with it. So you're going to talk about your free thing in your Facebook Live videos. You're going to put it in a link to it in a blog post. You're going to do an Instagram post about it. You're going to do a Facebook post about it. And not just once. Again, this is not a one and done thing. It's not like you're going to go, okay, guys, here's my lead magnet. It's all in these places. You got to do this consistently. People need to hear about it 7 to 13 times before they're actually going to sign up for it. So it doesn't mean every day you're hey, my lead magnet's here. Hey, have you got my lead magnet yet? It's about sprinkling it in every day in all your different spaces so that people can find it and want to download it.
Now, when you're doing a welcome sequence, do you email them every day, or is it every day over 10 days, or is it is it once a month?
I actually space it out. So I have a current welcome sequence I think it's 5 emails right now, but I actually want to extend it and make it longer. But I do the lead magnet goes day 1, immediately. And then day 2, I'm hey, you've had a few days with this. Tell me how you're doing with it. And by the way, did you see this? And I give them a little extra value. Did you see this part? Or did you know to do this too, like to give them some extra like tips.
So you call out like takeaways from
Yeah.
the free training or whatever it was that you offered. Awesome.
Remind them. And sometimes also you can, in that second email, is also put another link to the download, because how many times have you signed up for something and you actually didn't have a chance to look at it, and then now it's gone down in your email?
So many times.
Right.
So many. It's embarrassing.
The reminder for that second email can be like, oh, and if you haven't downloaded it yet, here's a handy link to get it today, and hopefully they can download. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, even if you get their email, that's great, and they're on your list and you can nurture them, but if you are not getting them a result, it's not a win. You know, like, you want them to open that freebie, you want them to do the things in that freebie because you want them to get the result. That's what's going to build the trust.
And that's how they'll remember you. Because if they just download it and it goes into their downloads folder on their computer or their phone, and they never actually use it, you're not really, yes, you're getting their email, but you're not gaining anything relationship wise. So if you do want to, a month from now, sell them something, or sign them up for your next big course, you're less likely for that to actually
get them a result as quickly as possible. So that's why it's like, you know, if you want them to open it, and that's why you also want your lead magnet to be, you know, tied to your niche and tied to their pain points, and being able to give them that quick win. Like, that's, you've got to be smart about that. And here's the other thing, your lead magnet might be something today, and next, you know, in 3 months from now, you may want to change it based on what's happening in the world, what's happening in your business, what's happening with your clients, needs that you're seeing that need to be met. It may need to shift and change. But it needs to be,
that's pretty much guaranteed in 2020 that you're going to be changing that lead magnet, you know, every other month. Murder hornets.
Right. My first lead magnet that I created, which was super successful, was how to it was called How to Become a Facebook Live Superstar. And that was when Facebook Live had first just come out. And I created a guide that showed them how to get their stuff set up, what they needed, the lights, the microphones, all the things, how to do an actual Facebook Live, what to think about, what not to think about. And I built, like, I think it was like 1,000 emails. I got 1,000 emails within like the first, I don't know, I want to say a couple months of just getting that out there. But the thing is after a while, everybody was using Facebook Live. Everybody knew how to do it. Like, there's probably still a few people out there who may find value in that. Mm-hmm. But I had to change and shift and move it around, because it was, you know, people just kind of were like, oh yeah, now I know how to do that. It's not so new.
So here's a question. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people in your space would make a YouTube video teaching mm-hmm. people how to do it to try to get more YouTube followers or whatever. And you're not giving that content for free. It's not just sitting on YouTube. You're using it as a lead magnet. So do you think that the other people who are just throwing all of this stuff on Facebook and Instagram and all of their teachables and just like hoping their audience comes, that's a mistake and they should be using it instead as a lead magnet? Or is it like a 50-50?
I think it's a combo. Like, I think, like, you know, if you have content, you still want to deliver content, free content. Like, I do free IGTV stuff all the time. I'm like, right. You know, value, I'm doing this class, all these things. I have like another free training, like, but I would still have something that you're exchanging an email for. So maybe there's one juicy nugget that you don't have on
YouTube. So you save the good stuff for the juice for the lead magnet.
Yeah, you could. And hey, if it is an actual free video on your YouTube somewhere, so be it. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people will find it, they'll still download it. Like, you know, it's not a huge deal if, yeah, it's on my YouTube channel somewhere, but now I'm also asking for an email address for it over here. Like, so
you can have both.
I would rather just see you get it out there and have something that you're asking for an email for, even if it's something that you're taking from a YouTube training that you did, you know, a year ago. Take right. That. If it's a really popular YouTube thing, then yeah, it's like, I actually have that on my on my website. I did an interview with Dean Graziosi, and it was great. And it's on my YouTube channel. You can watch it for free. He's got some of it on his YouTube channel as well. But I also, on my website, if you land on my website, now it's not there now because I replaced it with something temporarily, but to see it, you would have to give me your name and email address. And then I put it on a landing page for people to watch it. So once they put in their info, the interview pops up on a landing page and they can watch it right then and there. So yeah, it exists for free on YouTube, but it's also there on my website. So if someone lands on there and they're like, oh, I want to watch this, they put in their info and the video pops up for them. So right. I just think just yeah.
Now, landing pages are sort of an art form as well. I
Mhm.
know that a lot of people, they'll test, 2, 5, even 10 landing pages. What landing pages worked the best for you? Like, is it long? Is it short? Is it straight and to the point with 3 bullets, send in your stuff? Or is it like the big sales letter version where there's 1,500 words? Like, what has worked best for you?
Well, I think short and sweet and to the point is best because I think people's attention span are
Hmm,
super
absolutely.
elite. Yeah. And I think about my own habits when I'm on long sales pages, and when I'm on long sales pages, I'm literally like scrolling really fast to try and
I
find.
am I am the best at that. I should win
Yeah.
an award for how quick I can get to the bottom.
And so I just think of my own stuff. Now, what I do think is successful on sales pages are one, like a catchy heading, a good photo. I think you got it. The cleaner, the better. Because here's the thing, from a graphic designer's perspective, is a confused eye says no. So if there's too much stuff going on, if you got too many pictures in the background and layers and tops of like too many things going on, it's confusing. People will be like, "No, I'm out." Click, right? Because it's
Right.
too much. So a clean landing page, catchy header, few bullet points to talk about what the result is gonna be for them. It's always all about your prospect. What
So
did
it's
they?
not about the bullets aren't about what's in it. It's about the result that you're going to get from what's
Yes,
in it.
what
I
you're
like
going
that.
to learn, what you are going to get out of this, and then the clear space to put in the info. And then if you do have testimonials, I think the best way to put testimonials on a landing page are like if you have the screenshots of someone sending you something on your phone, like screenshotting it, cropping it, and using that like raw graphic versus typing it out and making it all look pretty.
Oh, look
Those
pretty.
text messages that you're getting or those Facebook messages that you're getting where you like scratch out the person's name because you obviously want to protect that, but
Hmm.
you actually scratch it out with like the little marker that like the
On
little,
the phone, yep.
right? And you put that on your thing because that is real. That's real. Like that's
Yes,
not like if you type it all out, make it look pretty, I could have made that shit up, right? Where the
so
text
true.
is real. So
Yeah,
I think those are the best way to show testimonials on your landing pages, but like one or two, maybe three, I don't know, and then that's it, and just get people signed up.
that's amazing.
Which the
Yeah.
type of marketing is like you only have so many characters to get someone to click the link to go. So you've got to get to the point. Like here's the link for
It's
this.
ruthless editing, right? Like, and it's so hard. You want to be like, this is why I love it, and this is why I love it. And I'm the worst at that. I'm really good at writing, but the ruthless editing part, getting, just making it. I just want to tell them everything because they're gonna be so happy when they get this thing.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a skill.
It is. It definitely skills. Sometimes I have to like step away and then come back and then like do my edits
Yeah.
because yeah, it's
I
sometimes you
always
get
come back the next morning.
yeah.
Usually I write it over a glass of wine at night and then and then come back in the morning to see, did that actually make sense? And if it did, how long-winded was it?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny as a tip for writing because I know sometimes I struggle writing email or sorry Instagram like long form Instagram posts like when I'm trying to really share and like I get really in my head and I'm thinking about that other girl's Instagram post and how well she wrote that and then I'm trying to write mine and I'm like trying to kind of sound like hers and it like they used to take me like 4 hours and I used to get like so frustrated because I was trying to make this point and I couldn't get it out right and then I finally just kind of was able to learn how to just kind of block out the noise and just tap into here and go, what am I trying to say here? Like, what does my ideal client need to hear in this message? What is the thing? And then I would just kind of like deep breath and just kind of write from my heart and just let it go.
I love that.
Yeah, and
That's
just
really
like
good.
let it out and try not to go back and re-edit it or reread it. I mean, I go back and re-look at it because my grammar's horrible and my spelling's horrible, so I double check for that stuff. But I try.
That's why you never put graphic designers in charge of the final editing. No, that's why their contract says that they're not in charge of that for that exact reason.
No, I hired a VA who helps me with my social media and it's great because she has a copywriter on her team. So she gives me like some bullet points to write about and then like, so she kind of triggers my brain for topic stuff. And then I go in
Ooh,
and
I love that idea.
yeah, it's great because they really know my ideal client. They know me. They've really, you know, spent some time doing that. I've given them some info and they've gone through my stuff, and they give me like a week's worth of content ideas and starter points. And then I go through and add my 2 cents over everything. So that it's really my voice, but it's very helpful because sometimes you're sitting there in front of your Instagram, you're like, okay, what do I need to say today? You know, and like now I'm getting this this help to get this stuff written and get it out there. And then they go back through and they'll edit it again.
And that's great because, you know, we get ideas of stuff that we want to share or teach or write all day long. But it's when you sit in front of the computer at, you know, 7 in the morning and you're ready to like fire that out. And that shit is not coming to you at all. It's just not happening.
I find that my mind goes blank though. It's like I go to sit and write and then all of a sudden I'm like, why can't I think of anything? Like I have so many things I could talk about. And then all of a sudden it's
so
like,
many.
Yeah. And then it just goes. And so this really helps keep me triggered with ideas and stuff. But at the end of the day though, you guys, like I could care less if I'm reading a post that's from the heart and it's a good message. I don't see spelling mistakes. I'm not seeing the grammar mistakes. Like, don't worry about those things. Like,
yeah,
just get the content out there. And in fact, I think people feel more comfortable when they see people who can write and do those things and there are mistakes in there because they go, oh, good, she makes mistakes too. She's like me. Like, you know, there's no room, there's no need for perfection.
absolutely.
In putting yourself out on social media or in your business or whatever you're doing. It's more about focusing on this, like being of service and getting your message and your mission out there. So don't let the perfection thing stop you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, so many people get paralyzed by perfection. It's a real thing, you know, especially if you're writing. I think a video is almost easier, especially for someone like you, where it's very organic. So you'll go on there, you kind of have 1 or 2 talking points and you just go off the hip. I think the more, and maybe that's why writing is more difficult sometimes, is you're organizing your thoughts and you're getting into every little thing, and really you just need to just speak to the person, speak authentically. If you spell badly, that's okay. There is going to be the people in the comments that go, well, it's not that you were, it's this you were, you know, or whatever. But you know what, they still at least read your message. So
exactly, right? I know it's better to just get it out there than it's, you know, I always say it's better to get it done than to be, you know, to try and be perfect, because if you try and be perfect, it'll just never get done.
Yeah. So like one last question about your following, because it is huge. You said you have 16,000 people on Instagram.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get there? Like,
no, good questions. Well, I'm going to share some hacks for doing your Instagram. So I built to probably, I would say around maybe 5,000 just kind of by showing up consistently. And I still build, you know, followers today just by showing up and trying to be consistent with my posting and my value and things like that.
And so that's everyday posting or multiple times throughout the day? I'm
posting probably 3 times a week on my feed, maybe one or random ones on the weekend, but I'm in my stories every day. So stories I'm consistently in, and I'm trying now to really make sure that I'm doing at least 1 or 2 IGTVs every week as well. I think that's where, I know that's where everything's going, is to video. So as often as possible. And now Instagram Reels is here, although I don't have it yet. I'm like, why don't I have it Instagram? They haven't given it to me yet. My husband has it and I don't have it. First of all, I did have a company that was helping me. At that time, it was called 21 Social, and they're a local company that does Instagram growth on your behalf. So they do, you know, they find your ideal clients, they do the engagement for you. And it was great. They helped me get over the 10,000. It was great. But what I didn't like about it was I couldn't follow or unfollow anybody because they were controlling that and they were going right to that. So, you know, like I wasn't seeing my friends' stuff because they had me following so many different people. And like, it just kind of just didn't become fun anymore to be on Instagram. And if you do like accounts on your own and you go over the limits, you can go into Instagram jail, which is like they freeze your account basically for a couple of days until you get out. And so I just after a while I was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm over the 10,000. I'll just let this happen organically for a bit longer. And then the other thing that I was saying before is that there's these really great loops you can do on Instagram, and they're fairly inexpensive. And you can
Okay.
find loops that are targeted to what maybe your ideal client would be. It might not be exact, but close. And I like the loops because they're real people, real accounts that are looking to grow their Instagram also. And if you even just search the word,
Like the collectives
yeah,
where we all like each other's posts and
yeah,
comment. I'm in a couple of those.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
there's
those are
that.
great.
Like a couple of the ones that I've done, if I just quickly look at my Instagram, if you just even type the word loop in your, in the search, you'll find some good ones. But some of the ones that I like, there's one that's called women underscore follow underscore loop. And it's women. And they're like, it's all women looking to grow their Instagram accounts. And you can become, what I like to do is I like to become a ghost host, because that way you don't have to post anything. You don't have to do anything. You just pay them, like, sometimes it's like $10 US, 15 US, and you get to be part of their next loop. It's real followers, real people. Now, my tips, if you're going to do a loop like that, is that it's one thing to be a part of the loop and get those followers. The next thing is to keep the followers. And so to keep the followers means
Right.
you need to engage with them. You need to like their photos. You need to send them some comments, maybe send them a private message, do some things to welcome them to your page, ask them questions so that they want to stay. So, because you will find if you do these loops and you don't do the engagement, you kind of go
Right.
like up and down, up and down. Like there's a bit of a like this that happens.
Hmm.
So those are a couple of the hacks that I've personally done to grow my
And do
account.
you find that they're the people that you want following
Some
you?
of them
I mean,
Some of
yeah.
them are. That's why I say, like, there's different. Some of them are like loops for bloggers. Some of them are loops for women. Some of them are loops for, mama tribes. Like, there's different ones out there. You just have to see and find one that's fairly close. But for me, my ideal client is a female, is a woman who has an idea and maybe wants to start a business. So there's a lot of women out there who are in that.
Like a lot. Like
Right.
90%, let's face it.
Right.
So now's your time.
For a lot of them on maternity leave, right? Like I know
Yes.
that's where a lot of, for me, my, wanting to start a business came when I was on maternity leave and things like that. So for me, like,
That's
yeah,
where one of my biggest businesses was born, was during maternity leave.
hmm so that's why for me, these loops are great. And, not everybody's my ideal client. And those who, here's the thing, at the end of the day, if people unfollow you, they were never going to be your client to begin with, right? So just,
Right.
and don't,
Hmm.
and don't get hung up on unsubscribes, unfollows, anythings, because those people were never your people to begin with. And that's why, they're gone, right? And that's why when it comes to your email list, like every so often you need to scrub your email list, which means you need to get rid of people who are not opening your emails after a certain amount of time, because those unopened emails that are sitting in people's inboxes actually affects your deliverability rate. And
Right.
go in Kajabi, there's a way that you can just click a button and it tells you who hasn't opened an email in 90 days, who hasn't, done any, like there's a couple criteria. And
And
then
you
I'll,
just get rid of those, or do you try to re-nurture them somehow?
no, I just, because they're not going to open it anyway. So
Yeah.
I just click their names and just hit unsubscribe.
Right. Don't beat your head against that wall. What's the
No,
point?
it's
Hmm.
not it. So,
And like you said, a small number of your right fit clients is so much more valuable than
yeah.
2,000 people who really aren't.
Right. And that's the thing for me, my list in the beginning was built up of a lot of network marketers, which potentially a lot of them can still be my ideal clients, but those who just stopped opening
Because
my,
those are entrepreneurs, if I ever heard one.
they are. And I
Mhm.
know at some point they're going to want to use their, to go to the next level or try something new. But, a lot of them wanted to leave because they saw me pivot and they were like, no, I want network marketing advice, not business advice, which to be honest, the business advice would still be helpful for them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been such a great interview. So many so many hacks that we can actually take away and apply today, and that's like my very favorite thing, because now I'm going to go do a whole bunch of stuff. And even we've all heard some of these hacks here and there as we've been building our businesses, and we all but you need to hear it again from a
Mhm.
different perspective sometimes for it to click, and
Yeah.
for you to go, okay, you know what, today's the day, I'm going to do that. And next thing you know, like new doors are opened and you're making progress, and it's amazing. So well, you've got, first of all, a free training online
Yes.
that you talk about. It's your getting started masterclass.
I have two. Yeah. So there is, so if you're somebody who's looking at getting started in the online space, you have a business idea. I do have a masterclass called the 4C Formula. And it is a free class that teaches you what it's 4 steps to getting started online. So there's literally tangible steps that you could walk away with in that free class to help you get your business going. So that is at
Awesome.
shanarecker.com. You can check that out, or you can always DM me on Instagram at shanarecker, and I'd be happy to send you a link to that as well. There's a great workbook that goes with it too. And then I'm also hosting an impromptu sort of quickie, like I just decided on the weekend that I'm like, I need to teach people about email lists. So this TikTok thing that was going on. So I'm doing it.
Entrepreneur, late night idea. Next
Yep.
week it's happening. That's what we're talking about.
Right. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, shoot, people need to learn how to do this. So I'm doing an Instagram or a training on Thursday night in my Zoom room. So if you want the link to that, you can just go to either shanarecker.com, or you can text the word kickstart to 343-300-0040, and it'll give you the link to join us on Thursday night at 8 p.m. And I'm going to talk all about how to build an email list. And I am going to touch on text messaging as well. I'm just getting into the text message thing, so I'm going to
Me too. I'm considering doing a service and trying to figure out which one I want to use, but it's exciting because it's right. We all love text and we all open them. So
it's the way to go. I dabbled in it, like, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and it just kind of was like my brain just couldn't go there at that point. But now I'm seeing how really pivotal it's going to be for the future. So it's time to step up and do that work. So I will teach as much as I know on Thursday about that as well. But really, it's more about building that solid email list. Even at this point, if you're collecting cell phone numbers, whether you do anything with them or not at this point is it's just if you can add that to your forms, that's just going to be a big step in itself.
And hey, some people will not share their cell phone, and that's fine. They'll just do the email, and that's great. But some people love the text, so give them the option.
I just have it on my forms for signing up. I don't make the cell number mandatory. The email is obviously mandatory, but and like some people willingly just give it and others don't, and that's fine, like you say. So even just having it on your forms right now is just a good step, but in the right direction. So I'm going to be teaching all about that Thursday. And again, you can always DM me on Instagram at Shana Recker if you want the links for that as well. So.
And what time on Thursday?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Perfect.
I always struggle with what times to do things. I'm like, I want to do it in the afternoon, but I want more people to be able to be on. There's all, so anyways, we went with 8 p.m.
8 p.m. is like the perfect time for me, right? Because the day is done.
Yeah, after dinner, kids are either in bed or kind of settled. You can jump on the computer for an hour and then, head to bed after.
Yeah.
So that's
great.
Yeah, I'm excited. So.
Well, thank you so much, Shana. I think this has been awesome. I think there's lots of takeaways, and I'm going to itemize those takeaways when I post this to the website as well. People will be able to find this on Facebook, obviously, because we live streamed twice because of internet issues. But also it will go out on Instagram and on Shana's channels, and this will go straight to the podcast once I have the audio only put together. So yeah, there's plenty of ways to catch this video and to catch Shana Recker online. You can catch her at shanarecker.com. You can check her out on her Instagram channel, which has a gazillion followers. And listen, if you'd like to cut to the chase because you know you're ready and you want to start your business right now and you just need a mentor and a kind of a guiding hand to take you through the steps, Dream Hustle Academy is actually on half price right now. There's video modules, workbooks, live Q&A calls every month, a private community, and lots of more good stuff. And to check that out, it's bit.ly, so bit.ly/Dream Hustle Academy. Otherwise, just jump on her free masterclass this Thursday at 8 o'clock. So thanks again for listening. If you want to check out more interviews, it's entrepreneurlife.ca, or check out any of our channels or shanarecker.com.